word to your mummy. You know what time it is, so don't go anywhere. It's Cinemassacre, it's Monster Madness, 80s-a-thon. Ever since the first Monster Madness, I've gotten an overwhelming amount of requests for killer clowns from outer space. Alright, so let's get to it. Time to stop clowning around. On the box art of the DVD, it says, "In space, no one can eat ice cream." That's a parody of the tagline to Alien, which was, "In space, no one can hear you scream." This movie is full of little tributes like that, with some teenagers who spot a meteor. But this time, it's not just a chunk of rock, but a spaceship in the shape of a giant big circus tent. And this big top circus tent turns out to be a big top. A farmer comes along thinking the circus arrived in town, but soon finds that this isn't the Ringling Brothers experience that he had hoped for. Next, the teenagers enter the space tent to find the core, which is designed as a tribute to the underground compound in Forbidden Planet. They find the local townsfolk hanging like flies caught in a spider's web, but instead cotton candy. The clowns chase them out of the tent with their popcorn guns. They barely manage to escape the ship with their lives, and now the clowns are out on the loose creating havoc and destruction wherever they go. Before Captain Spaulding and Pennywise, there were the blood-drinking killer clowns from outer space. Actually, they're not even clowns at all. They're aliens who just happen to resemble clowns. They have an arsenal of weapons to make them even more threatening. Acid-filled pies, already mentioned the popcorn guns, and killer balloon animals. The kids try to warn the police of the intergalactic clown menace, but like so many other movies of the genre, the police don't believe them until it's too late. While the kids are busy trying to convince them, the clowns are busy pillaging the town. There's not much to it. It's all just an excuse to see some killer clowns run loose, and it's really a delight. I won't summarize every scene, and besides, most people have seen the movie. If you haven't seen it by any chance, it's worth a watch. But I will describe some of my favorite moments. There's of course the part with the clown doing the shadow puppets. That seems to be most people's favorite. The part where the clown preys on a little girl is kind of disturbing, but darkly comedic. I almost forgot to mention, I heard that some of the clown heads used during filming ended up being used in Ernest Scared Stupid. The finale is a real doozy. The teens encounter Clownzilla, which is the leader of the intergalactic candy corn threat. They wanted this to be stop motion, but for money and time reasons they used the guy in a rubber suit, hence the Godzilla name. I also like when they see all the cotton candy bodies hanging as food to be later consumed. That's a pretty big body count. Even though you don't see most of the killings, they probably killed more people than Jason, Freddy, and Michael Myers combined. The Chiodo brothers wrote, directed, and did the effects for the film. They did the effects for Large Marge in Pee-wee's Big Adventure. Their style makes the whole film look like some kind of twisted cartoon world. Most everything in the foreground is bright colors, and the backgrounds are always black. There's also these footprints on the ground which remind me of Daffy Duck in the Great Piggy Bank Robbery. That's the best way to describe it. This film is very much like a cartoon. It combines horror with slapstick comedy and wacky art design to boot. It's gotten a huge cult fan base. Whenever it plays in a theater, people throw popcorn and cotton candy, they shout out lines of dialogue, almost like Rocky Horror Picture Show. That's why I've always felt, this movie is so well known, what's the point of talking about it? That's the reason I've never reviewed it before. I think one of the main reasons it has such an appeal is because lots of people find clowns frightening. I've never been into the whole clown thing. I don't find them scary at all, especially if we're talking about ordinary clowns. It's not a phobia I've ever experienced myself. To me, this film is just another product of the 80s. A great one, but one of many. Since this was 80s-a-thon, I had to do it.